Right, catching up now with Duncan McPherson here on Redwood and Derby Day, Aldebaran Park Redwood Day, Harass the Trotters Derby Day. So great unite, and actually I think it was the Aldebaran matchmaker mile. So all the good studs are involved on a big day like today. Great day of racing.
Yeah, I mean that's what the industry needs support of the major studs, and it's great that Aldebaran and Harass the Trotters and Aldebaran Park joined forces to support an all trotting day in Victoria, and I think it's appropriate. That's what we do.
Premier all trotting day too. I know we got Breeders' Crowns and Sire Stakes and all the rest. Everyone wants to win on this day. I just interviewed Graham Dwyer and he's just rapt just to have a winner here on Redwood Day, let alone the fact that he won the Derby.
Yeah, I mean the Redwood Carnival itself is revered right around Australia, and it's probably the destination for trotters, particularly the juvenile trotters. So I think we've had 4 or 5 2-year-old trot races over the carnival itself, which just goes to show that the breeding of the juveniles is going from strength to strength, and being later in the year. This time of the year obviously suits more horses, and that's why they're getting so many nominations for the race fields.
And the fields are standing up as far as ability too. So it's not just numbers. It's not like someone's got a horse and they've just rushed it in there. The numbers are great. The fields, the results are good. They're great finishes.
Yeah, and I think the quality of what we've seen here too. I mean, the beauty is that you've got horses here from we had owners, as was said earlier, Western Australia, New Zealand, Queensland. I mean, it just goes to show that the trotters are right around Australia and the owners are right around Australia now, and I think that's the investment we need in the sport.
This race is not international. Well, it is international. You're going to get onto that part in a second. Yeah. She's Bella. We've got Roger's Galloping Connection, New Zealand. We've got Brecon Farms with Highgate, Purdon's, Greg Sugars. Everyone is here.
Yeah, I mean, it's Destination Maryborough, isn't it? And I mean, I think what they've got to do in the future is we've got to make sure that the prize money's commensurate with what we're trying to achieve here, and it's it's a little bit sad when you look at the Derby and the Redwood. They've been stuck on their 75 and 50,000, and it's not that we begrudge the 75 and 50,000 that's on offer, but I think to be progressive and attract new people to the sport, we've got to show increased prize money in our blue riband events, and whether it's Harness Racing Victoria or the club itself, there's got to be a conscious effort to increase the prize money and increase the prestige. The notoriety and the famous and the legend of the Redwood and the Derby are there. What we've got to do now is attract new players to the industry and get it so they can get a return on invested funds, and I think that's where we've got to start to concentrate.
And I challenge the industry a little bit on that, because a lot of people will come to you. They'll come to you, Aldebaran, Harass the Trotters, yourself, hand out, we need more money, we need to raise this race up. The industry, we've got to change the way we do it. We've got to look at it a little bit differently, or a lot differently, and try and do it differently, because we do have something that's very, very unique. As I said, you said there, West Australian owners, London to a brick. We've got New Zealanders, John Bootsman, he's won a race here, like one of the biggest breeders in the world.
Yeah, and I mean that goes to the international part is what we've been pushing: internationalisation, globalisation of sport. It's what Aldebaran Park's been all about for 20 odd years, 30 years. But there to have John Bootsman, who comes down each year. So he purchased Aldebaran Vera out of the paddock. It's Father Patrick Philly, and he's a great believer in US bloodlines. And he comes down and he purchased Vera, and then he leased it out to the Lavargue Racing Group, Marg Lee and the crew down at Terang, and for her to be right up there, and she's actually by Trixton, I think, so I'll change the Father Patrick comment, but again, it's an American bloodline and he's very interested in those. But look, it's a great thrill. We did an interview with the boys after the race and sent it straight up to John in Holland, and he's up and he watched it, and to be able to connect in the world we live in now with social media and so on, and have a bloke looking at a video 5 minutes after his horse has won at the Redwood, and then get the positive feedback, well, that's what we need to be doing, endearing ourselves to the rest of the world and trying to attract international buyers into our market. And if we do that, we've got half a chance. If we keep not marketing our product, then we've got no opportunity to grow the sport, and I think that the more the better. And I'm sure John, with the success he's had with Aldebaran Vera, will be looking at purchasing another filly down here in the next few years and hopefully breeding on.
Got to think differently too. Breeders' Crown Day was on today. They'll run at the same time as some of the earlier races. You wouldn't know that here unless you're walking around on your phone trying to get the reception. But wouldn't it be nice also to have had Redwood Day going back to the Breeders' Crown meeting as well? And there's enough expats over there that we could actually sell it. We've just got to start thinking differently, as I say, about not only how we market or the people we go to ask for increased stake money, but how we get that message out there and realise what we have got. Because unlike the thoroughbreds and a lot of other industries, we're very unique, because Dylan Ferguson sending his horses home, they're going to back up in December. Thoroughbreds thoroughbreds, that stop like unfortunately like the Trotter did and all the rest, they'd be saying, well, that's it. We'll see him in 12 months' time. But I've got no doubt Dylan and them will have him right for December, and he'll be racing in the Derby in New Zealand. So we've got to be able to market it and get it out onto these platforms as well as New Zealand, because New Zealand Kaikoura's on today. And I think they started about the same time as us. They had a delayed start. We definitely have to think differently. We've got to get if it's not our own trot channel, but a channel where anyone can go and watch harness racing, but we've got to have where people can accidentally find it as well.
Yeah, and you talked about the Breeders' Crown. I don't understand why the big truck's not in the middle of the track, but we've got to engage with even the public that are here, and to have those races and Kaikoura. But you take the Breeders' Crown. Let's just be honest for a minute. Southwind Frank, who's available in the Southern Hemisphere, won a Breeders' Crown, or side a Breeders' Crown winner. Tactical Landing's done exactly the same. So yeah, he did too. So those stallions are available to us, and to not actually be able to see it on a TV or have some commentary around that actually occurring, it just blindsides me. And as a sport, and I'll go back to HRV, you've got to be able to promote not only our product to the other side of the world, but we've got to promote the product that's on the other side of the world back into our own industry. And if you went around here today and said that there's 2 stallions available that have just side Breeders' Crown winners in North America, do you know it? And the answer is no. Well, then we're not doing ourselves a favour down here. No. And we're not endearing ourselves to the broader public. And if we can't send the message out amongst our own participants, they can't spread the message to the broader public. So we've just got to start to understand that we are part of a global scene. And again, internationalisation, globalisation of the sport. We've got to make sure that we're endearing ourselves to the rest of the world. The
best horse racing at the minute in pacing world, he will be standing in Australia this time next year. People could have been able to watch it, might have got a full book out of it simply by watching it. Same thing could happen with the trotters. Being able to get that market out there, it's sort of a little bit of a no-brainer. The other one that's a really quirky one, you think about Breeders' Crown, we've just had a betting line out of an Albert mare. You imagine the Americans sitting back and they'd be saying, how cool is this? Like a horse, 2 horses that they fondly have great rapport with. And he wins as a trotting race. That's a great part about our sport as well.
Yeah, and we talk about it. Genetics are genetics, and we try and bring the best bloodlines in, but there's always horses that are going to, come from left field somewhere. And that's the beauty of the sport, and that's what keeps people engaged and involved in it. But, from a pure stud perspective, everybody's doing their bit. Hurrahs to Trotters and Aldebaran and ourselves, and we're trying to bring the best bloodlines available from around the world and in Europe and down into Australia. And if we can keep doing that and hold our line, whilst we go through what we're going through as a sport down in Victoria, and we look at Queensland and South Australia and New South Wales, and even New Zealand. We've got as much demand for our stallions in New Zealand this year as we've had in the past, and hopefully there's a pick-up over there. But there's a horse for everybody, and we've just got to make sure that we're marketing as far and wide as we can.
Both yourself and Arastra Trotter has been doing great marketing here today too, buying into this, and maybe that's another part we've got to get where people realise that the stallions are here. You've both been giving away cheap service fees, discounted service fees, to make sure they get here on the day and be a part of it. Just on your stallions, what a job Aldebaran Eagle's doing. I know unfortunately he's ill-fated, but what a job he is doing. I think he had another winner last night. From memory, he might have had 2.
Yeah, well, I was just talking with some people who said, isn't it a pity the rules changed? And unfortunately, we don't make the rules. But no, look, it was a long bow for us to go up there and buy him, and then we raced him, and he raced in a handbow and won an International Stallion Stake down in Lexington, which we happened to be at. And his constitution and his intestinal fortitude to put up with what he did for 3 years told us that he was going to be a good stallion, and he only had 3 full seasons, lowly patronised, might I say, but we patronised him at the farm, and with Aldebaran Jensen, Aldebaran Dexter, Aldebaran Styles, I think those 3 horses have won nearly 30 races between them, and some group races, and rocking with attitude. So and then obviously the first winner today, the Fiery Sunset. So yeah, he just keeps producing winners, and if he was around today and it wasn't ill-fated as you pointed to, who knows, we'd be singing from the rafters. But that's racing, and that's the vagrancies of owning horses and having horses. But look, we're thrilled, and Mel and Danny at the farm and do a great job, and there's no doubt that the people I've been speaking to today, Dancing in the Dark, we've got some foals on the ground, and they're outstanding looking horses, and we've put a few on social media, and his numbers are going really well, and we're fresh as best at Aldebaran Park, and we're hoping that he becomes the stallion of choice later in the year, because his affordability, but the ability to have fresh semen, I think, is going to pull him pulled well through in the last 6 or 8 weeks of the breeding season.
Stephen Hunter, man, on social media, on Twitter, he's a very passionate man. He sent, I think he got 4 maybe. He put photos up anyway, all dancing in the dark. So he's a convert. I think he was always a pacing man, mate. He's a pure trotting man now, all yours.
Yes, and I think that when you look at the constitution of the horses that he's produced so far, all goes well for the rest of the year, and we can't wait to get more on the ground. And, if anyone wants to give us a call, always happy to assist wherever we can. But being fresh, we'll send it anywhere. And we collect Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we're ready to go tomorrow.
Dunk, thank you. Appreciate it. I know you're going straight after race 9. You're still going after race 9 because there's a 46-minute gap, so you'll be gone before the race 10. But thank you very much, mate.
No, thanks for having us, and congratulations. It was great to see some board members from Harness Racing Victoria here at Maryborough today, and there's no doubt that their patronage of the race was well received by the committee at Maryborough, and that's what it's all about. And Maryborough have done a great job again, and we look forward to the Aldebaran Park 2024 Redwood Carnival next year, and all good punting and all good racing to everybody involved. So thanks very much for the opportunity to have a chat. Thanks,
mate. Very different chat for you and I. Sometimes we can go on for a long time, but thanks for joining me.
Good on you. Thanks, Paul.